If you're a fan of classic martial arts movies, you might remember some of the genre's iconic stars. From Jet Li to Tony Jaa to Stephen Chow, their faces are instantly recognizable. But some have changed a lot due to age or sickness. What do these stars look like now? Find out more in the video. You won't believe who number 5 is. Before we start the video, remember, click that like button and subscribe if you want to be up to date on cool content like this. We're starting with our first star, Gordon Liu. He's an actor you may recognize from various movies such as The 36th Chamber of Shaolin and Kill Bill. Gordon Liu was born in 1955, living a modest life in a small village in Henan, China. From a young age, he was fascinated with martial arts and practiced in the fields around his home. That sounds like the start of a real-life action movie, right? He began his acting career when Chang's Film Company, a subsidiary of the famous Shaw Brothers studio, discovered him in a local talent show. Seeing his talent, they were impressed. Without waiting any further, Liu was offered a contract on the spot. The executives were right. He did have amazing talent. This young man with an intense gaze and sharp features soon became a household name worldwide. His lightning-fast kicks were showcased in roles such as San Te from the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, as well as Johnny Mo and Pai Mei in the Kill Bill franchise. As he aged, Gordon continued maintaining his body and mind with rigorous training, alongside other pursuits like painting and calligraphy. Unfortunately, his health declined, and so did his appearance. In August 2011, while in Tukwawan performing with his band, Liu had a stroke and hit his head. This caused him to have partial right-sided paralysis and speech impairment. At the same time, his family life was going downhill as well. His estranged family from his second marriage had begun pressuring him for money. All this caused him to fall into depression, and he aged a lot as a result. Liu chose to isolate himself in a nursing home until 2012 when he decided, enough is enough. Liu then divorced his second wife and focused on recovery. In 2015, it was reported he no longer spoke with a slur but continued to use a wheelchair. While he remains in the nursing home today and has gone gray from age, Liu is looking a lot more cheerful, even amidst the COVID pandemic of the past few years. According to his caretaker, he would take the initiative to chat with people, and he is happiest when he is eating snacks or playing mahjong. It's unfortunate that Gordon Liu's stroke has put his career on hold, through no fault of his own. Like in the movies, sometimes people can be suddenly struck down by ailments that destroy their dreams. But sometimes, those ailments are their own fault. Up next, we have 2 more iconic martial arts stars. One is still well-loved despite her illness, while the other has ruined his own life with bad decisions. If you're curious, watch on to find out more. At number 2, we have an iconic lady in the martial arts world, Cheng Pei-Pei, as talented as she is beautiful. Born in Shanghai, China in 1946, Cheng started her career in film as a young woman, at the age of 20. She was unfamiliar with martial arts films, as they had been banned in China during her childhood when the communists came to power. Still, despite her unfamiliarity with the films, this spirited young woman soon became a huge star. Martial arts fans primarily recognize her first major role in King Hu's 1966 wuxia film, Come Drink With Me, while mainstream viewers know her as the villainous Jade Fox in Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2000. In the 1960s, Cheng was voted Queen of Swords in a poll organized by the Hong Kong press. She made around 20 wuxia films for Shaw Brothers alone, including a role in Chang Che's Golden Swallow in 1968. Her performances are characterized by grace, agility, and dignity, which undoubtedly came from her background in ballet, music, and Chinese dance, a Hong Kong critic wrote in 1980. She is considered to be one of the best actresses to have emerged from the martial arts cinema. Today, she is 75 years old and resides in the US with her daughter, son-in-law, and grandchild. It's hard to recognize Cheng compared to how she looked in her heyday, and rumors of health complications have been circulating for a while. Number 3, Steven Seagal, a man who was once admired on the big screen but fell from grace dramatically. In the 1990s, Steven Seagal was all the rage. Seagal made his acting debut in 1988's Above the Law. By 1991, he had starred in 4 action and martial arts films. At the time, people loved his movies, as the action was quick and punchy, and he fought on screen with very brutal moves. Compared to other, more highly choreographed action films, Seagal's movies were a breath of fresh air. He wasn't exactly a heartthrob even back then, but there's no denying a sizable number of people found him attractive still. But unfortunately, Seagal threw it all away. During the latter half of the 1990s, Seagal starred in 3 more feature films and the direct-to-video film The Patriot. Subsequently, his career shifted to mostly direct-to-video productions. With each film released, the ratings began to fall lower and lower, and his reputation soon became a joke. Today, Seagal is widely ridiculed and disliked by many people, not just because he's fat and has stopped taking care of his appearance. Well, he is fat, but that's not the reason people hate him now. He has also been accused of harassing women multiple times, and is supposedly an unpleasant jerk to work with on the movie set. Many other co-stars have accused him of purposely trying to injure them during action scenes. There are also rumors that he's heavily on drugs, which would explain his haggard appearance. Next, at number 4, Sammo Hung. The name Sammo Hung is undoubtedly iconic in Hong Kong cinema. He's a multi-talented artist known for his acting, martial arts, directing, screenwriting, and producing prowess. Hung was born in Hong Kong in 1952 and grew up with a passion for kung fu movies. He was able to study martial arts under none other than the legendary master IP Man. That's a very high honor to receive. At the tender age of 14, he made his film debut in the film Education in Love. Young Sammo Hung looked like any other Chinese kid, and at first glance, you wouldn't expect much out of him. But his performance made a major impression on the audience and critics alike. This opened doors for him to take on many other minor roles and hone his craft. By the time he became an adult, Hung was a very recognizable face. He wasn't a typical hunk with legions of fangirls, but the audience was delighted nonetheless by his antics and expressive face. Blending physical comedy and martial arts skills, Hung soon turned into a fan favorite. Successful films he starred in include Winners and Sinners, My Lucky Stars, and Wheels on Meals. Throughout his career, Hung has always been a plump man. His rotund physique often plays a part in his movies. But in 2020, photos of him stunned fans. He appeared to have lost a lot of weight compared to before. He went for a knee operation in 2017 and was seen in wheelchairs or with a walking stick in photos. Following intense speculation, Hung disclosed in an interview in November 2020 that he had been on a diet. Fortunately, he seems to have regained some of that weight as of 2022. Speaking of drastic changes in appearance, you'll want to stick around for number 5, it'll shock you. At number 5, we've got the well-known Jet Li. Jet Li is a Chinese-Singaporean martial artist, seen as one of the most famous martial artists of his generation. Throughout his life, he has been a wushu champion, actor, film producer, and also a philanthropist. Jet Li started his career young. As a teenager, he trained for 3 years before winning his first national championship for the Beijing Wushu team. Li then went on to score the title of men's all-around national wushu champion 5 times. After all these wins, he chose to retire in a blaze of glory. Not as an old man, though, but at the ripe young age of 18. Imagine that. A dashing young man sweeps through the competition, winning multiple years in a row, and then quits the sport forever. It sounds like the premise of a film. Naturally, Jet Li chose to pivot into acting. Using his wushu skills, Li became a successful movie star. His debut was in Shaolin Temple, 1982, which instantly catapulted him to stardom in East Asia. The young actor's good looks and wide smile captivated the hearts of millions. He went on to star in many other critically acclaimed martial arts epic films. This includes Zhang Yimou's Hero, 2002, Fist of Legend, 1994, and the first 3 films in the Once Upon a Time in China series, 1991, 1993. Once Upon a Time in China was especially notable, with Jet Li playing real-life folk hero Wang Fei Hung. Of course, this made him an even bigger household name, and gave Li a legion of devoted fans around the world. Everyone from housewives to school kids to grandmothers and grandfathers knew who he was. But the years haven't been kind to his body. In 2013, he revealed he had been suffering from hyperthyroidism for 3 years. Li claimed in 2016 that he had made a full recovery, but today, he's looking a fair bit older than his actual age thanks to the long-term effects of the disease. Gone is the full head of hair that young Jet Li once sported. He is also taking on less acting roles. Still, even if he isn't as active anymore, Li continues to captivate audiences around the world. He also involves himself heavily in charity work. Enjoying the video so far? Curious to discover what more of your childhood kung fu stars look like now? Then stick around and don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 6, Lung. Like many other martial arts actors of his era, Lung got his start in Shaw Brothers films. Lung had a rough early life, losing his father when he was only 11, which forced him to work at the family business to earn income. At 17, he trained as a tailor and studied Wing Chun with the master Ju Wan to protect himself against street gangs. But he managed to turn things around and become a successful movie star, with his good looks earning him lots of fans. Look at this man. Wasn't he handsome? But Lung wasn't just a pretty face. He was skilled in martial arts and had good acting talent as well, all of which landed him roles in multiple Shaw Brothers movies. He was even able to work with the most revered Shaw Studios director, Cheng Pei-Pei. Cheng Pei-Pei guided Lung and his frequent co-star David Chiang, turning them into big names over the course of 20 films. We'll be checking out David Chiang in the next point. But for now, let's get back to Lung. Lung's movies include classics like Dead End, 1969, Have Sword, Will Travel, 1969, Four Riders, 1972, and The Pirate, 1973. Today, Lung is 76. He has lost most of that glorious hair to age, but he's still good-looking as ever. You wouldn't know he's 76 just from looking at him. According to his son, Lung refuses to retire from acting even after suffering a major fall in 2017. Speaking of David Chiang, here he is at number 7. Born in June 1947 to a family of movie stars, David Chiang was a child star by the age of 4. As he grew up, he took on many minor roles, until his performance caught the eye of director Cheng Pei-Pei. Alongside Lung, David Chiang went on to have a prolific career and enjoyed the attention of many martial arts fans. With his handsome appearance, David Chiang was able to secure roles in more than 130 movies and 30 TV series. Most of these were in the wuxia genre. His pictures from his younger days wouldn't be out of place on the covers of romance novels. It's no secret that many women were enamored with him, and this further boosted his popularity. Amongst his many movies are classics like The One-Armed Swordsman, The New One-Armed Swordsman, and Anonymous Heroes. These days, Chiang looks rather different. He is far more fatherly and less like a brooding action hero. The changes that come with aging are inevitable, but he surprisingly still looks younger than his actual age of 76. So far, with the exception of Seagal, we've covered mostly Chinese martial artists. But in other parts of Asia, there are some really famous martial arts stars too. Stick around for number 8 to learn more. Number 8, Tony Jaa. Tony Jaa is an acclaimed Thai actor, choreographer, and martial artist. Like many of the others, he had humble beginnings as well. Tony Jaa grew up in the small town of Surin in Thailand. He was fascinated with Muay Thai, a Thai combat sport. Tony Jaa would also put on impromptu acting performances for his family and friends. This interest led him to his big break in 2003 when he starred in the critically acclaimed movie Ong Bak, Muay Thai Warrior. Jaa captivated audiences with his breathtaking stunts and fight scenes. His chiseled physique along with a very emotionally intense performance was also highly praised. This catapulted him to international fame and established him as one of the generation's most talented action choreographers. 20 years later, Jaa is no longer a young man and is a proud husband and father of 2 daughters. He also looks quite different now, with a more subdued appearance compared to his younger days. It makes sense, really. Becoming a father mellowed him out and perhaps made him try to be a little more presentable as well for the sake of his daughters. But that hasn't taken away his discipline and passion for martial arts. He continues to practice martial arts every day. Even at the age of 46, he is still in peak physical condition with bulging muscles and lightning-fast reflexes. Number 9, Stephen Chow. Stephen Chow is a beloved Hong Kong actor, director, and producer who most people know from his comedic roles. He has been in the entertainment industry for over 3 decades. From a young age, he knew he had a natural talent for performing. His charisma and quick wit soon earned him recognition as a talented comedian and made him a household name in Hong Kong as well as worldwide. Some of his films include the iconic Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. But alongside his comedy, Chow is also famous for his good looks. He often plays rugged everyman characters who are down on their luck, a reflection of his humble origins. Despite his characters often being the butt of jokes, they somehow manage to come across as dashing and charming. Chow is 61 now, and you can tell he has aged a lot in the past 10 or 20 years. His hair has gone all gray and he's way more wrinkled than before. Compared to someone like Donnie Yen, who is only 6 years younger, Chow looks far older. He's not sickly or anything as far as we know. It's far more likely that Chow's drastic change in appearance is for another reason. Maybe he just doesn't care about maintaining his youthfulness like some other celebrities do. Aging is a natural process after all, but even then, his silvery gray hair does lend him a certain charm. Lastly, we have another lady of Kung Fu, Angela Mao. Her love for Kung Fu began at a young age, nurtured by her family of martial artists. Guided by her father, Mao began training when she was just 6 years old. Her training was rigorous. She spent many hours each day perfecting her techniques, mastering various forms of Kung Fu, and learning about the philosophy behind the discipline. In her teenage years, this caught the attention of a film producer who was looking for a female martial artist for his upcoming movie. At first, she hesitated, but her father encouraged her. This proved to be the right choice. Mao went on to star in various other films, including Enter the Dragon, where she played the sister of Bruce Lee's character. This was the film that catapulted her to stardom. Her characters often had both beauty and brains, as Mao did in real life, which was one of the draws for the audience. They came to see the pretty girl and stayed for the action as she outwitted numerous foes. Despite the stereotypes, Mao was able to break through barriers and pave the way for many other women to enter martial arts as well. But her career didn't last long. In 1992, she took her last role, before giving up the celebrity life to care for her family. Today, she runs a few restaurants together with them. Mao once embodied cunning, beautiful female characters. Now, with the passing of time, she more closely resembles a strict family matron. But underneath that steely appearance, she is a kind woman, passionate about defending women's rights and mentoring them to break boundaries, especially within martial arts. These are just a few of the many kung fu stars that have aged and changed over the years, for better or worse. Some of them are unfortunately no longer with us. For those stars who are still alive, it's a good idea to appreciate their presence on the silver screen. What did you think of the video? Are there any more kung fu stars you think aged gracefully or not so gracefully? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to smash those like and subscribe buttons.